In my example, business has been like a tree. We started by teaching, by the first name of Centonomy was personal financial management. I was that person of business cards, clearly, okay? Because I was like, so you want to do personal finance? It was actually called Personal Finance Management Limited. If you go to the registrar, there was a change of name to Centonomy, yeah? Because after a while, because I was just like, that's what we're doing. Let's make it easy for people to understand what we're doing, yeah? But later, we were like, actually, we're not just personal finance management, we're wealth creation. So now we say our work is to empower people to create wealth. We do it through personal finance, we do it with entrepreneurship, we do it through books, we do it through podcasts, we do it through events like this. So the scope has opened up. Yeah, by being that, now we train across Africa as well. Yeah, but it had to start from a new definition for us to see new possibilities. So those of you sometimes who are sitting and saying, I have so many ideas, every idea is a different business. Just ask yourself, are they interconnected? From the time I started a personal finance program to move it to entrepreneurship, did not really need new resources. It was the same people, yeah, same infrastructure, same office, same accounting system, etc. So even when you're thinking about many business ideas, first I'd also advise you have something that has anchored you. Yeah, my experience is anchor in something. So like a tree has a trunk. Yeah, what is that? Yeah, what is your anchor? For me, it was a money. This personal finance was the anchor. Then from that, it grew branches, entrepreneurship, podcasts, books, keynote speeches, and things are still opening up now a lot as we speak about. But there was an anchor so that everything is working from there. So I didn't go from this, then I've decided I've seen an opportunity in hardware. That's now a completely different business. And I know there are people who do that. But for me, my experience has been having the anchor and making the anchor solid has enabled other things. Then me as Waceke, I've gone and invested in other things. I've gone and invested in real estate and things like that without distorting the anchor. Yeah? So just say, what is the anchor? From there, does it grow branches? Yeah? People sometimes who are doing, I've seen people they started with a salon, then they have a spa, then they're doing beauty products, but the anchor is the same. They're still in beauty, so they're able to use a lot of the same resources. So you don't have to think about many businesses. So think multiplication rather than effort. What can multiply quickly? Yeah? So that you're not saying it's more time in a different business, but saying using the same resources, and if I add it's just one person here, one thing there, can I multiply? Because the greatest formula for wealth creation is multiplication, not anything else. And understanding that for you to make money, you are also dealing with a resource that is called time. We can lose money, we can make money, but there's one thing, if I lose an hour, I can never get it back. You understand that, yeah? So even as we're evaluating what we're doing, start doing this calculation for yourself. What is my return on time? So you work so many hours, look at what you're getting out of the business and say, even though I start something new, what is the return on the hour that I'm actually getting? Because when you understand the value of time, you're probably going to understand this money better, the money and how to grow the money better. So your current financial situation personally and in business is always telling you something, yeah? It's asking you what is wrong or right about the system that you have. Yeah, and a lot of us, the system that we struggle with is sustainability. So the question you're asking is not how do I make more money, it's how does this business become sustainable? So in my business, first I was doing one-on-one coaching, and I was like, the time factor, the sustainability factor was just not working. First, from a client perspective, and it always works. What works to make you more money usually works for the client. For the client perspective, they needed to learn more than what Waceke could deliver in a session of 2 hours. They needed to be with people who they feel now we are not alone in this problem. So the answer was create a class where instead, first of all, return on time for me was higher. I was spending 2 hours with you, but now I can spend 2 hours with 40 people. 80% of your problems are the same. So why don't I create a class? Yeah? And that's what we did. So the return on time is higher. But sustainability, instead of every day I'm wondering which consultation one-on-one am I getting, now when a class entered, that means I have worked for 3 months. You see, now that is what got me into the mind of sustainability. And that now becomes a system. Now behind the scenes, you have to go back and say, okay, what is the kind of, that is for us why visibility was so important. We have to be in front of people's faces all the time. That's why media became more important. The partnerships with media became important. The partnerships with the influencers became important. Social media became important. So all the things we do, open days, Centonomy events, now fed into my business. So I'm using my business as an example because what works for your business, because until we get that right for our businesses, I can tell you so many things about money, but until that is figured out, and I'm not saying it works perfectly all the time, but you're like, okay, at least 70% of the time I have this, yeah, going, what else can be needed? Because what we need to do is get out of the success, the survival, the rat race, where you're working hard, then the more bills, you know, a rat never catches its tail, more bills that to pay, yeah? And then what do you do? Because there are more bills to pay, you work harder, and the cycle continues, yeah? Work hard again, and sometimes you earn more money. Look at your business, you're probably earning more than 5 years ago, or 10 years ago, or 3 years ago, 2 years ago. But are you making more money? So if your business is earning more money but as a business, but you're personally, you're still in the same situation, then something is wrong with the system. Then you start building a system around that. So, I said before, money isn't emotional, people are. Yeah? So that system starts understanding, when I talk about cash flow, it's not one-time inconsistent deals. It's about money coming in regularly. How does money come in regularly in your business? I can't answer it for everybody's business, but when we do the program, that's actually what we get you to answer. What is the sustainable version? And for some people, their business is, I make a lot of money on this one contract every year. Then that's fine. Then you know every year, this is the business, yeah? But you now know how to manage the money that comes in every year, because you know for the first 8 months you won't be paid. I think somebody was saying that earlier. You won't actually be paid. Then you just understand when it comes in and you see 20 million shillings, you don't get excited and walk over to Toyota Kenya. Yeah? You just know that I have to survive on 8 months, and then you build the system that makes you efficient with surviving on that money thing. So on the practical side, yeah, and I'm going to try and link this to the way we personally use. Money is understanding. There's a difference between revenue. Let's first deal and profit. Let's say you earn a salary in a job, okay, 100,000 shillings. Your living expenses, rent, entertainment, transport, everything is 80,000 shillings, correct? Your profit is? From your salary is 20,000, correct? That's it. In a business, the same thing. Your business earns 100,000 shillings. All your expenses are 80,000 shillings. And that expense should include what? What did we talk about earlier? You, yeah? Your profit is 20,000 shillings. That's profit. But on a day-to-day, the business doesn't run on revenue. What does it run on? We don't watch revenues. Revenues for the accountant to tell us at the end of the month what our revenues were. What do we run on? For example, you are in Nakumatt. Not Nakumatt. Tuskys, not Tuskys. God, what supermarkets are gone? Where are the names? Naivas. All the names are just disappearing from me. Me, when I started my business, it was Tuskys and Nakumatt. That's why I'm remembering them, yeah? You're in Naivas. You fill your trolley. You walk to the counter. Do you produce your revenues of the business statement? Do you produce your pay slip? Your pay slip is revenue. Do you produce your pay slip? What do you produce at the till? Cash. So even in your business, revenue is not it, because revenue could be, I do a job for him, I have invoiced him, correct? You know that is reflected as revenue because I have done the job. Okay, now later when you come to Centonomy, we'll even tell you how KRA immediately recognize it as revenue and tax you. Yeah? It is recognized as revenue because I've done the job. But sorry, what's your name?
Eugene.
Eh? Eugene is like Waceke. I know you did me a solid on that job. But lakini things are tight. Yeah? Can I pay you next week? But I need to go to Naivas. Can I tell Naivas, Eugene is a good guy. He'll come through next week. And he comes through, I'll come through for my shopping. No. So as much as Eugene owes me 100,000 shillings for the job, my cash is zero. That is now the business was saying every week. Remember I talked about one of the things I do is I don't watch revenue. How much money has come in? How much money do we need to pay out? Because when I need to pay trainers, the team, they don't take post-dated checks, they want cash. So now ask what sustains cash. If you are being paid by your client in 60 days to do a job, this is what kills business. Not that the fact that they don't have revenue. Yeah? But your expenses, I need Eugene and so many other people to help me pull off this job, but Safaricom is paying me in 60 days for the job. What do I do in between? Because Kina Eugene will want cash. So now you have to say, actually, guys, it's a contract that is being paid in 60 days. So can I pay all of you in 60 days? Do you understand? So it's now understanding, let me match when money is coming in to when money is going out. So revenue, cash flow, profit, the most important for a business to be sustainable is cash flow. Back to what I was saying. What infrastructure do you have so that money comes in consistently? I'm not going to go into separating business and personal because that everybody has talked about and paying yourself. All I'll tell you is this for those who one day want to attract an investor. This is how an investor will look at your business. They'll be like, oh, your profits are at the end of the year, let's say even say 5 million shillings. And so you want to value your company at maybe 30 million shillings, yeah? So we buy your company. Then they'll be like, oh, hang on, something's missing here. You are not paying yourself, but we will have to hire a CEO to run you. So had you been paying a CEO, your real profit is not 5 million shillings, it's 1 million shillings. So the value of your business is not 30 million, it's 5 million. Here's 5 million, goodbye. So you are you're undervaluing your business by not paying yourself.